Terence Bud Crawford, Shawn Porter both weighed in. Y'all want to know the ego reactions? Stay tuned. I got you covered. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Listen, I don't know how you found my video, but somehow, somewhere you made it. Throw a like on the video. Goes a long way. Let me also tell you this. Crawford versus Porter should be a phenomenal fight. It's ESPN Plus pay-per-view. If you will be ordering the fight, use my affiliate link in the description. If you use that link, it costs you nothing extra to order the Crawford-Porter fight, and I appreciate it. I may get a small commission and kickback, but it costs nothing to you. Should be an amazing fight, ESPN Plus pay-per-view. Appreciate you guys for the support. Now it's reaction time. Crawford versus Terence Crawford. That made no sense. Terence Crawford versus Shawn Porter, excuse me. I'm looking forward to this fight. I will be ordering the fight. Again, you guys can use the link in the description. And it should be a barn burner. The intensity of the weigh-in FaceOff was apparent. And I'm going to talk about that in my breakdown. Without further ado, let's get it started. Now, before I get started, let's talk about the official weights. The official weight for Terence Crawford was 146.4 pounds. Shawn Porter was within ounces of Terence Crawford. Both came in under the 147 mark slightly. Shawn Porter weighed 146.6 pounds. Now, I want to talk about some of the things that I've seen within the weigh-in. So, Jimmy Lennon, the Honorable Jimmy Lennon, you've seen Terence Crawford kind of donning the Cleveland Browns. He's, of course, from Ohio, so he's rocking the Cleveland Browns attire or color scheme, I guess you could say. Shawn Porter, age 34, listed at 5'7" with the 69.5-inch reach. He last fought Sebastian Formella, and it says 455 days ago. That's weird that it's been that long, but I guess it was. He fought in the pandemic of 2020, so I'm glad they put that piece of information. Of course, he's representing America, former two-time welterweight. So Shawn Porter hit the scale, and he was jacked. Shawn Porter was in tremendous shape. You guys could see from the photos and screen caps. Shawn Porter walked up to the scale, and boom, you see he's dialed in. You know, he looks very ready. Very, very ready. Now, this is what you want to see from a fighter like Shawn Porter, former two-time champion, and he hits the scales. He comes in at weight. And keep in mind, Shawn Porter's mid-30s, 34, and he's a veteran in the sport. So he's been in the sport so long, that becomes very hard to do. Like, just to put it in perspective for you guys, because I think I have an amazing way of putting in perspective through analogies and examples. So put this in perspective. A lot of these pro fighters are maintaining the same weight from, it could be the early 2000s all the way to 20 years later, 18 years later, or 10 years later, or whatever the situation is, depending on the length of their individual career. What's pretty impressive about that is we've all been to like high school, most of us, right? And we went to high school, and you have classmates, and you look at the classmates and you remember them when they were juniors and seniors and freshmen and all that, right? And you look at whatever size they were, it could even be as a senior. You look at what size they are. Most people haven't maintained whatever weight they were in high school. I would say, at least my school, I don't know about y'all, 707 Fairfield, California, Bay Area was good, but I see a lot of people, and they picked up weight or, changed their physique. These boxers, have been for the last 10 years making a certain weight. And that's important because Shawn Porter, he fought as an amateur at 165. He fought a guy that Golovkin fought as a pro in the amateurs. He fought against Dominic Wade, and he was dropped in that fight, right? And he also fought Usyk. So Shawn Porter was a guy who was back in the amateur days. He was weighing 165s or whatever at competition, and then as a pro, he's already tapered back. So props to Shawn Porter for being able to maintain his weight and be disciplined and keep his weight down and still look good. Like, he doesn't look like, to me, I've seen people and fighters are drained. He don't look drained. He looked like he made weight in the most comfortable way possible. So that's very impressive because, like I said, just to give you guys the analogy, there's a lot of people you went to school with that don't look like they looked in high school. They're not maintaining their weight, or they're much bigger. Like, I know some people that were pretty skinny in high school, and now they're real big, So for these fighters, the Crawfords and Porters and, various fighters to be making a certain weight class for 10 plus years, I don't think a lot of people put that in perspective, especially since Shawn Porter particularly was weighing in the 160s way back when, you know what I mean? So Shawn Porter comes in, he was jacked, he was dialed, you see the biceps, he took his mask off, he did a little flex, boom, got the flex gang. He looks in phenomenal shape. And this is what you would expect since he's fighting a beast in Terence Crawford. You want to pull out all the stops. So he pulled out his mask down, got off the scale again. Then Crawford came out. All business. Crawford walked out, came off the shirt. Crawford, similar age, 34, a little bit taller, 5'8". His reach is some people don't know this, but his reach is listed at 74 inches, and that's very long arms, especially for a guy his height. Mayweather had a 72-inch reach, and that gave guys problems. And you look at Crawford, he last fought 371 days ago. So both fighters, there's a lot of similarities. Age, they're both about 34 years old. Both of them last fought over a year ago. Crawford just over a year, 371 days. There's 365 days in a year. Shawn Porter, his was like 400 and change. So they both fought in one time in 2020, right? Crawford came out the shirt. He has a record of 37-0, 28 knockouts. He sliced. Now, I have seen Crawford. The good thing about Crawford is some people thought he was a small welterweight. I think he's filled in nicely to the welterweight category. And that probably comes with age as well because, like I said, when people hit that late 20, 30 mark, the weight, your metabolism slows down and certain natural productions, testosterone and stuff scales back. So it's easier to keep weight on. And then Crawford being a gym rat and being someone who's disciplined, it's probably easier for him to keep weight versus when he was like 20, he could probably eat and nonstop eat. And it was probably harder for him to keep up weight. But then now that lives an active lifestyle, fighter lifestyle, it's probably easier for him to keep his gains a little bit more. And you see him, we always see Crawford in this shape, so this is nothing new. Crawford is sliced up. He looks like he's in great shape. Now, Crawford, this is where he kind of transformed, Optimus Prime. After the weigh-in, the way he storms up to Shawn Porter and the look that he gave Shawn Porter was pretty sinister. He was in like straight kill mode. Shawn Porter being a nice guy, he was getting booed because there's a lot of Omaha fans. I believe this weigh-in was closed to the public. So it was a pro Crawford crowd, it sounded like. But again, it wasn't you know, it could be a bit of a bias because you have a PBC fighter and it's closed to the public. So Crawford probably had, since he works with Top Rank, been working with Top Rank, he probably has more love and support than kind of the non-hometown fighter. But watch how Crawford pulled up on him. You know, Shawn Porter is just celebrating the crowd. Look, Crawford, power walk to him. And look, Shawn Porter's smiling, and then Crawford's just flexing, and he not even looking at Shawn Porter. But then when he does look at Shawn Porter, it's all business. Watch. Look. Look. Crawford mean. Crawford is mean. Look. Look at that look. Now, one thing I give credit to ESPN and Top Rank, we're still in the pandemic, and they actually did a real face-off. Listen, I'm a boxing fan. I feel like if both fighters have passed the testing protocol and you have a controlled stage, like don't have too many people, unnecessary people on stage, I like to see the face-off. I remember Crawford's last fight with Kell Brook. It was last year, so the pandemic or whatever. And they were like social distance. It's just, I don't know. It's harder to get into it. When you do an actual face-off like this really gets you the vibes. You know, this is what we've always had before the pandemic. So like I said, if they're following the health codes and procedural things that they got to do, I don't see why, if they both have passed, I don't see why they can't do a face-off. So I'm glad that they allowed this, because this is the money shot. This is what the fans want to see. Now, I'm not going to read too much into it because, you know, it's a staring contest. Anybody can. Crawford, he looks serious, though. You know, Shawn Porter's looking in his eye. Neither one of them, you know, really said anything. Crawford looking like a serial killer. You know, I think a lot of people try to overly look at the face-off and judge what the guy's thinking. I remember I did a video. I told you I've been in the game for a minute. I did a video about Mayweather-Canelo face-off, and some of the people said that Mayweather was chewing his gum really fast because he was scared and nervous of Canelo, and we seen how that fight played out the very next day, and Mayweather, you know, schooled Canelo up. So I don't really look too far into the face-off unless I see something that's like so brazen. The ESPN commentary crew talked about how Shawn Porter looked away first. You know, I don't really, none of that means anything, because you look at another top ranked fight, Josue Vargas. He was doing all the theatrics at the weigh-in with Jose Zepeda, and some people were like, "Oh, Zepeda's shook, he's scared," and then Zepeda knocked him out in the first round. So, to me, this is just kind of for show. Shawn Porter looking away, unless I seen something specific to that face-off where it really looks like fear. I don't really look into that. Like I said, I think a recent top rank example is Josue Vargas and Zepeda. Josue Vargas was touching the belt and their team started fighting and all that, and then he got knocked out in the first round. So, yeah, that don't mean nothing. But very good face-off. Both fighters made weight. Shawn Porter looked ripped. He doing the Hulk Hogan flex. Shawn Porter and Crawford both close to weight. So that's really my perception of the weigh-in. Crawford, he was tripping, bro. The way he was looking was hilarious. Use my link in the description to get Crawford Porter ordered to fight. Let me know how I did in this video. That's all my thoughts. I'm ready for the fight. Let's go. Bring it. And I'm out. You tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster.